The unit I chose to do is a unit that integrates math. It integrates language arts, specifically the components of presentation and technology skills that are needed in the language arts areas. And also it integrates social studies. Basically, the kids were asked to create and design their own restaurant. And within this project, they had to maintain a budget. They had to create a multimedia marketing campaign. And they also had to design and furnish a digital model of the restaurant. And then it all culminated with a tasting day where they had a menu that they created, and parents came in for a tasting event and a restaurant review in a final celebration of the hard work that they had done. All right, guys, it's the time you've all been waiting for. I told you that we are going to engage in a new, exciting project. But first of all, I want us to pay attention to, take note of our essential question. Could somebody read this essential question for me? How about you, Kaylee?
How do the academic skills you acquire in language arts, math, and social studies prepare you for the real-life experiences of owning and operating a small business?
All right. How do academic skills that you learn in school, such as language arts, math, and social studies, prepare you for a real-life experience, such as owning and operating a small business? I know that you always are wanting to know, why are we having to do this? What's the point of this when I introduce new concepts and skills to you? Well, you're going to find out through this activity how very important those concepts and skills are that you're learning in 5th grade, and how that's going to transfer into the decision making that you continue to engage in throughout life. So, are you ready to get to what it is you're going to do?
Yeah.
All right, drum roll. The task. You will work as a group to design and operate a new restaurant. Each group member will have one or more of the following job responsibilities. First of all, we'll have to have an owner of a restaurant, right? Raise your hand if you've ever been to a restaurant. All right? I want you to think right now, imagine yourself going into your favorite restaurant, kind of visualize the experience. In your own head, I want you to kind of look around at what you see as you enter that restaurant, how that restaurant operates, and the people that might play an important part in running that organization or that business, okay? Kind of keep that little tape playing in your head. So definitely an owner we would need. What's this next word here?
Architect.
An architect. Who's heard of an architect before? Who can tell me the job of an architect, and why would an architect be needed for a restaurant? Let's see, who have I not heard from? Jacob.
It's kind of a person who builds the foundation of a restaurant, or does the thing itself.
Okay, builds the foundation of the restaurant or itself. Anybody else have an idea of what an architect does, Annie?
They would design the structure of the restaurant.
Okay, design the structure as in with the physical materials they design the structure?
The exterior design.
The exterior design, as designing it on paper and then presenting that to those who would actually build it. Okay, so definitely an architect if you're going to be either starting a restaurant from scratch, or if you're going to be modifying or remodeling a building. All right, now I think you're probably familiar with this job at a restaurant. Raise your hand if you've ever heard or seen a manager of a restaurant. What is the purpose of a manager in a restaurant? What would a manager do? Rhea.
They manage the restaurant.
Manage the restaurant. Could someone give me a definition of a manager without using the root word manage? How else could we say that? Ava.
They kind of take over the restaurant whenever the owner's not there.
Okay. And their job is basically to support the owners and to make sure that they give excellent service, high quality food, but they are basically, as you said, managing or making sure that everyone is doing their job correctly as they're supposed to. So definitely a manager would be an important part of a restaurant. Okay, and then this is my favorite job. Who can tell me what this is and why this would be important? Riley.
It's the chef, and they cook the food.
Chef, the one that cooks the food, prepares the delicious meals that you go and look forward to when you visit a restaurant. And then, why would a designer need to be a part of a restaurant? Chloe.
They help design the decor inside the restaurant. restaurant.
Okay, why is decor important to you when you go to a restaurant?
Yes.
If you said yes, raise your hand and tell me why you think decor would be an important part of the dining experience. Mila.
Because it helps kind of set the mood around you, and it helps determine if you like the restaurant or not, like if you feel comfortable.
Okay, all right. So usually when you're going to a restaurant, you're spending hard-earned money. You want to go into an atmosphere where you will feel comfortable, you'll feel welcome, you'll enjoy your surroundings, and you will be able to taste fabulous food. And then finally we have a marketing consultant. Who can tell me what you think a marketing consultant's job might be? Marketing consultant. Ava?
I think that it's someone who manages the advertisements.
Okay, manages the advertisements and getting the word out. What about this title made you think that?
Well, I know that marketing, it's advertising, and consultant is a professional, so I think that it's going to be a professional advertiser.
Okay, someone that we would consider an expert and might want to go to for their advice. So a marketing consultant is an expert who would help you market your new business. Congratulations. Your group has been given a budget of $3 million. And you have been challenged to open a new restaurant. But most of you are thinking, $3 million, boy, that's a lot of money. We don't need near that much. However, you're going to work very hard these weeks to bring your ideas to light, make your business dreams a reality, and you not only get to choose a building, but you have to include in that $3 million operating that business for a full year. So you're not only going to purchase, furnish, decorate, but you're going to have to hire staff. You're going to have to figure out how much the wages would be for the entire year, factor that in. If you choose to do a commercial, you're going to have to research in the market you choose to have your restaurant. What do they charge for commercials per 30 seconds or one minute, and how long will I run that commercial? So you're going to be spending that money faster than you think. How will you encourage people to give your restaurant a try? Rahul?
I would add pictures of foods on the menu to lure people to my restaurant.
All right. And not just adding pictures of the food, but I am lured by words also. Yes, so show me a nice picture and then use your language to lure me in with the descriptive explanation.
Ms. Ittner is effective because she allows the students to be a part of the learning process. She may have her plan where she wants to go, but when the students start thinking about how they can change something, when they can go down a different path, she allows them to do that. And she doesn't just say that this is on my lesson plan, so this is what we're going to do. She has a start, but then once she gets the kids involved in it, they're so engaged that she then takes a step back and becomes more of a facilitator of learning, and the students become the teacher part, and they decide where is the best avenue to complete the process.
Whenever you walk into her classroom, you can always see students. There's a lot of collaboration that you see going on among students. It's a student-led environment. She pretty much takes the role of a mentor and leads the students into the thinking and guides the instruction more than just giving directions.
Okay, boys and girls, I want to let you know of a special activity that we're going to do today. When I introduced to you earlier our new problem-based learning unit that we're going to do, I mentioned to you that it would be designing and operating your own restaurant. And today we have a very special guest with us, someone who is a member of not only the Chattahoochee community, because she has a son who goes to school here, but she is also a business owner who owns and operates a restaurant in the community at large. So I have asked Mrs. Julie Medina to come and be with us today so that she can answer some of the questions that you might have as you're getting ready to go off on this business venture and design your own restaurant. So I did ask you previously if you would maybe brainstorm some questions for her, some things that you might want to ask to help drive the decisions that you make as you create your own business. So if anybody is ready to do that, I'm going to have Mrs. Medina say a little bit about herself, and then she'll open it up for some questions.
Hi guys, I'm Julie. I own the patio. Have any of you been to the patio? You liked it? We have been open to almost 12 years. It'll be 12 years in December. And we got into the restaurant business kind of just by chance. We decided it was something we wanted to do. We tried to come up with something different and fun, and found a partner to help us start it up, and here we are 12 years later.
All right. Anybody have any questions that you might want to ask Mrs. Medina?
I'll let you pick.
Okay. How about you, Mila?
What is the concept of your restaurant?
Our concept is good food made from scratch in our kitchen. We wanted something different. We wanted, when people came in, for people to think that this was food like their grandmother used to make, or like their mom used to make, or like they make at home. We wanted everything to be fresh. Nothing comes in frozen. Nothing comes in, we don't use cake mixes. We don't use pre-made dressings. We make everything. We make the croutons, we make the cakes, the cookies. We make the salad dressings. We make everything. And that was the most important part of our concept, was everything fresh, everything from scratch.
Why did you choose the location of your restaurant?
Kind of goes back to target market. We chose the location because it was close to neighborhoods, close to offices. It was kind of close to everything. It was a good central location. We used some information from the census to find out where people were, what kind of people were out there, how much money they made. A lot goes into picking where you're going to have a business. Go.
How did you determine your prices?
A lot goes into prices. We had to take our rent, we had to take our food costs, we had to take our labor costs, and once you figure all that out, you want your food costs to be about 20 to 25%. And then everything else comes into play. And it's a lot of calculations, but basically you want your profit to run you at about 20%. 20% in a restaurant is good.
How did you decide to buy or lease your property?
We decided to lease because we didn't have the upfront capital to buy.
Everybody understand what upfront capital is? What do you think upfront capital is? If you think back to what she said earlier about being right out of school and having to have an investor because they didn't have that type of, what do you think upfront capital would be, Ava?
Like the full-on money to just jump in and already have the chance to buy your restaurant?
Yes, the liquid cash or assets to be able to do something like that.
Exactly.
All right. Thank you, boys and girls, for the questions that you asked. I think you asked some fabulous questions. And Ms. Medina, we can't thank you enough for giving us your valuable time to come in and speak with us. It's been very beneficial, and I know that it's going to help them a lot in the project that they are getting ready to take on. So again, thank you so much. Let's thank Mrs. Medina. Okay, give me a thumbs up if you think you are ready. You have the operational strategies down, you have thought of a concept, you have a theme in mind, and you are ready to get with your groups to get started on your restaurant design project. When the kids are working in small groups, first of all, at the beginning of the unit, they're given a deadline sheet with each specific task and a hard deadline of when it needs to be finished. They're also encouraged to kind of divide and conquer, because if they don't do that, then they're not going to be able to manage their time well. But the kids are working in groups on either a blueprint for the restaurant design. They might be working on finding the equipment needed to furnish and decorate the restaurant. They also could be working on advertising. They were required to come up with a 60-second commercial and also 5 pieces of print advertisement to market their business. Some might be working on finding the demographics, creating a graph, because one of their responsibilities was, once they had chosen their concept and determined a target market, they had to prove why they thought their business would be successful in the market that they chose. Meeting with Ocean's Delight, and I'm interested in the name that you chose for your restaurant. Why did you choose Ocean's Delight?
Well, our cuisine is seafood and Indian. We did put more seafood into the actual menu, so we thought we could use like an ocean, and we could since the food would be really good, we could make it like a delight.
Okay.
And so we used that as our name. And for our logo, we thought we could do like an island with palm trees and like the sun rising. So we decided to go on the internet and look at pictures like that and give us some ideas.
All right, so when you were looking for your logo, did you choose an existing logo or did you create your own?
We created, but we still looked for pictures to give us some ideas.
Okay.
Like how an island would be with if you're gonna do palm trees, how you would set it up, and we sort of added our own touch to it.
And what program did you use to create your logo?
Microsoft Word.
Microsoft Word, okay.
So it's basically from scratch.
The teacher checkpoint is a system where I can assess the skills as we are going along in the unit. It is also an accountability measure for myself to make sure that I am keeping up with measuring the skills that I need to as we're going along. It's kind of a formative assessment for me to help and understand if there are some misconceptions that I need to clear up as they're working on the project, rather than waiting to the end and realizing, oh, they didn't understand this at all. And then for the kids, it helps them with their time management, because that's one piece that whenever you're working on a project, either alone or with someone else, it's key that you make sure that you are staying on top of your tasks and you don't start having to work from behind to catch up. Okay, and then you mentioned menu items. So have you completed your menu, or are you in the process of designing your menu?
We have completed it, but we did have to go through it a couple times, get all the facts done, the prices at the writing, some good description. Yeah,
Okay.
the basic layout of it.
Okay.
We have to do that.
What did you find most challenging about the menu?
The prices.
The prices, okay.
Some items are pricey, some are not as pricey, but we want to make the items reasonable.
Okay, and how did you decide that? What was your determining factor? What was a reasonable price that people would pay, and what was too pricey?
So for seafood, it's you're expecting for it to be a little pricey, but not over the top. We try to limit it under $15. Yes.
Okay. Because who is your target market? Who are you trying to appeal to?
Families with children.
Okay, families with children. And I could say, as a mom of older children, at that age, I would not have wanted to spend much more than that on my kids' meal. So I think that was a good idea, that you wanted to keep your price point low enough for a family-friendly restaurant, but also wanted to offer some seafood, because people do want to be able, when they're spending their money, to go out to have that. Good job.
Miss Ittner's class, she let us use technology. Other classes, it was more pen and paper. But here she let us use technology, and it really helped because we got to learn much more than we would have with just a piece of paper. So I think that was a very good move, and that we learned a lot from technology and about technology.
Whoa, look at all this.
The restaurant project culminates with a tasting event. And it is something that is enjoyed by parents and students alike. But the students have, through this process, designed their own original menu. And so for tasting day, they choose one or more menu items, and they actually prepare those dishes and bring them in to school. And then once they have brought them into school, they also have their project boards prepared with all of the work that they have completed and assembled, and are proud and ready to share with the parents and with the public. Hi, welcome to A Taste of Chattahoochee. Thank you for coming today. We would like for you to have an opportunity to look at the fabulous work our fifth graders have been working on. As you go through each area, they have designed their own restaurant. They had to create a blueprint. They had to come up with a menu, and they have chosen a menu item to display today, or not display, but to give to you today to taste. So if you would please rate them based on this rubric that they created, we would appreciate it. Thank you. Okay. Thank you. Whenever we do a problem or a project-based unit, we always have a rubric, and that drives our process the whole way. Again, I like to give students the opportunity to have input on how they are going to be assessed, because I think that allows them ownership of their learning. On this day, we have a review sheet that we use, and we invite other teachers, we invite parents, we invite administrators to come and review our restaurants. The restaurant review sheet is actually a sheet that is drafted by students.
Welcome to the Amazon, an adventure for your taste buds. We are a very wonderful place to dine at. We would appreciate for you to come to our restaurant. You will not regret it.
When we were in the process of coming up with the theme, I remembered going to an amusement park and being in this awesome restaurant. We thought we could make a restaurant everyone liked to like it, and that's why we came up with a rainforest theme. Plus, we all love animals and wildlife, so why not?
We serve North and South American food to our customers. We have a regular and vegetarian menus, each with unique varieties of food, from a rainforest salad to a tree frog sundae, each made from scratch right in the kitchen.
When we first got this assignment, we all thought that making a restaurant would be easy. But when we started getting into the project, we hit lots of problems, and sometimes it took a few days to solve.
All we thought we had to do was purchase a piece of land, build a building, and add furniture in the restaurant. We quickly realized how hard it was going to be.
We had to purchase lots of decorations, furniture, and toilets. We had to decide what flooring the restaurant would have, and we had to calculate the cost of buying land, purchasing furniture, and decorations. But we also learned a lot more than just that. I learned to appreciate all the hard work that went into making the restaurants.
Altogether, this was not the easiest thing ever. My group, however, worked well together. That's pretty much the news for you.
Even though this project was tough, we jumped over the hurdles and had a great time working together.
How did you find the information about the demographics in Duluth?
Well, I looked on a few sites on Google and some websites, and I found out this information. Then I used Microsoft PowerPoint to turn it into a demographics.
What made you decide to add vegetarian choices to your menu?
Because we know some people are a vegetarian, and
so if we only had if we didn't have vegetarian menu, we would get less customers, and
Yeah, we want to make everybody happy.
Okay.
And is your restaurant welcoming families?
Yes, we have a kids menu, adult menus, vegetarian menus, and everything that you would have with other restaurants that serve food for kids.
And when we built this restaurant, we thought that the target market would be, it's very family friendly, because we knew the target market would probably be family with children, so that's what makes it so family friendly.
How did you guys create that design? Did you guys do that yourself?
Yeah, we just decided that we should have a party room, a kids play area, and main dining and kitchen, and bathrooms. And
Yes.
thank you for coming to our restaurant.
Don't forget to take a sample on the way out.
Yes.
Thank you very much. Great presentation. Part of the reason that we encourage kids to be able to present their work or their projects is in the real world, very rarely do you work in isolation, and very rarely do you work in a vacuum where you complete an assignment and then you just move on to the next assignment. More than likely, you're going to have to present it to someone. It might be a client, it might be a customer, it might be your boss, or it might be for an advertisement. So we want to give students as much experience as possible in speaking in front of groups of people.
Hello, welcome to Bamboo Fusion. We're an Asian-themed restaurant. We originally wanted to be an Asian restaurant because all three of us have Asian backgrounds, so we decided that if we were able to make the food, we would be able to make it with more authenticity and expertise. Our location is on Lombard Street, San Francisco, 2030. And the reason we did Lombard Street was because it's the most crooked street in the world, and so we would be able to attract tourists. And also, San Francisco has 30% of the population is Asian, so we decided that that could be used to our advantage, as well as the other 70% being introduced to Asian cuisine. Our concept is being able to appeal to those who are new to Asian food, and so we decided that we would be able to call ours Bamboo Fusion because bamboo is an iconic plant that represents Asia, but we're also fusing all the different types of Asian food, Vietnamese, Chinese, Korean, Thai, all those types together. And also, we tried not to make it too Asian so that it would weird them out.
And our blueprint, and it's our restaurant is a total of 4,000 square feet, and the amount of people we can have in total is 125 people, including our staff, and we have 22 tables in total and 94 seats. And also, we wanted to keep our decoration simple because we didn't really want like our restaurant to be too Asian because we wanted to let new people into Asian cuisine. So we just decided to keep it really simple and like just maybe like windows and a light wooden floor to like give our customers like a light breezy feeling.
So for our advertisements, we decided to have technology in it, so to appeal to today's generation. We have a Facebook page which can be accessed from mobile or from a laptop. We also have a website which again can be accessed from mobile. We also have t-shirts which our staff and you can buy to be part of our family and to wear our shirts. We also have business cards to hand out and one of our most important advertisements is word of mouth. You wouldn't, by watching a commercial, you wouldn't just like all of a sudden think that, oh, I should come here because of the commercial. You would take advice from someone you know or a relative or a friend that would recommend your restaurant.
And I see that SFABA, what's that? You need to fill out the form also?
It is a permit that we have here. It's San Francisco Area Business Alliance. It gives us permits and $165 a year to be able to be a restaurant and actually be licensed.
Okay, I really want to know what's your favorite item on the menu?
My favorite item would have to be the desserts. It's Vietnamese jelly, and it's made with agar-agar powder, and it gives it a different sort of taste. And some people would use coffee, coconut, others would add in a little bit of food coloring to give it a more distinct look.
My favorite would actually be a Vietnamese tradition, which is called pho, and it's kind of rice noodles and this really flavorful soup, and it's just, to me, it's like one of the family tradition, so it just kind of gives me a good taste and feeling.
Good comfort food.
Yeah.
And my favorite meal would probably be like egg rolls because it gives like the outer coat gives like a nice crispy feeling, and inside there's like a variety of vegetables and meats in there.
I think that it's important to do projects like this because not only do these projects impact a student for a unit or a semester, but the way that kids are brought together to collaborate, to think critically, to communicate and create are skills that are going to be necessary and stick with them in life. These are going to be skills that they're going to continue to build upon in middle school, in high school, and outside of school as they are building their futures, building relationships, starting their own businesses, becoming our future innovators and entrepreneurs of the next generation.